Operation Iron Fox, unveiling the dawn of a new era. Brothers and sisters of the Black Sun. Today, we stand on the precipice of history, ready to embark on a campaign that will forever alter the course of our destiny. As the architects of the future and the harbingers of a new order, we gather under the banner of Operation Iron Fox, a meticulously crafted endeavor designed to secure the jewel of the Midwest, Chicago. Operation Iron Fox is not merely a military conquest. It is the embodiment of our unwavering resolve, the testament to our unparalleled might, and the herald of our indomitable spirit. This operation will showcase the full spectrum of our capabilities, from the unmatched ferocity of our armored divisions to the relentless advance of our undead legions, all underpinned by the strategic ingenuity of our special forces. The path ahead is fraught with challenges, but it is through adversity that we forge our legacy. Chicago stands as a fortress, brimming with resources, strategic assets, and the unyielding spirit of its defenders. Yet, it is these very attributes that make its capture essential for the expansion of our dominion and the realization of our vision for a new world order. Operation Iron Fox will commence at dawn, a symbolic gesture marking the rise of our Black Sun over the horizon of a world in desperate need of enlightenment. Our Blitzkrieg will be swift, like the cunning fox, outmaneuvering and outpacing any who dare stand against us. Our approach will be ironclad, leaving no room for doubt as to the outcome of this campaign. Let us not underestimate the task at hand. The defenders of Chicago will fight with the desperation of those who see their end looming. They will not yield easily, but we are the storm they cannot weather. Our resolve is unbreakable, our loyalty unshakable, and our purpose clear. We do not seek merely to conquer. We aim to liberate, to bring order to chaos, strength to weakness, and unity to division. As we mobilize for Operation Iron Fox, remember the principles that bind us. Discipline, efficiency, and strategic mastery are the hallmarks of our force. We fight not just with weapons, but with the conviction that we are the architects of a better world. Each tank rumble, each infantry march, and each undead charge carries with it the weight of our collective ambition. To the soldiers of the Black Sun, I say this: your valor will be the beacon that guides our way. Your sacrifice is the foundation upon which our new era will be built. Together, we will seize Chicago, not merely as a city, but as a symbol of our inevitable ascension. The dawn of Operation Iron Fox marks the beginning of our march towards destiny. Let the world watch as we carve our path, unyielding and unstoppable. Forward, to victory and beyond, under the dark banner of the Black Sun. For glory, for dominion, for the future we will forge together. Let the iron will of the Black Sun shine upon this world. Operation Iron Fox begins now. The success of Operation Iron Eagle in Indianapolis has set a formidable precedent for our campaign's expansion, particularly in our strategic objective to capture Chicago. This city, a critical hub of commerce, transportation, and military significance, represents a strategic jewel in our quest for domination. Drawing from our victorious operations in Cincinnati, Columbus, Toledo, and Indianapolis, and leveraging the advancements and resources consolidated at Wright-Patterson AFB, we shall embark on a meticulously crafted campaign to bring Chicago under the control of the Black Sun. Strategic overview and preparation. The successful acquisition of Indianapolis provides us with a strategic foothold from which to project our power further, most imminently towards the critical target of Chicago. The expansion and enhancement of the Indianapolis Forward Operating Base, OB, is pivotal, serving as the springboard for this next phase of conquest. To this end, a comprehensive overhaul and expansion plan for the FOB is delineated as follows. #expansion and upgrade of the Forward Operating Base. 1. Infrastructure development. Construction of specialized facilities. Immediate commencement of construction for expanded barracks capable of housing both our regular forces and the undead legions. Ensuring segregation and specialized maintenance facilities for the latter to cater to their unique requirements. Armament and ammunition warehouses. Erect state-of-the-art, secure warehouses for the storage of advanced weaponry, including anti-armor munitions, experimental weapons, and the vast caches of ammunition required for sustained operations. Mechanized unit facilities. Development of dedicated maintenance hangars and repair shops for our armored and mechanized divisions, equipped with the latest in repair technology, including automated repair systems and diagnostic tools for swift turnaround. Advanced armory for special operations. Establishment of a high-security armory for special operations forces, stocking specialized equipment, including stealth gear, advanced communication tools, and high-tech sabotage devices. 2. Logistics and supply chain management. Robust supply lines. Establish reinforced, secure supply lines from Wright-Patterson AFB and other supply depots, utilizing both conventional transport methods and experimental technology for rapid deployment capabilities. Inventory management systems. Implementation of an AI-driven logistics and inventory management system, allowing for real-time tracking of resources, predictive resupply ordering, and the allocation of resources to frontline units based on tactical needs. Fuel depot expansion. Expansion of fuel storage capabilities, incorporating advanced fueling systems for rapid refueling of vehicles and aircraft, alongside specialized storage for experimental fuel types for advanced weapon systems. Biological material handling. Development of secure, climate-controlled storage facilities for the biological materials necessary for the maintenance and creation of undead legions, ensuring these sensitive materials are kept at optimal conditions to prevent degradation. 3. Undead Legion specialized infrastructure, reanimation and enhancement labs, expansion of the existing facilities into a fully fledged complex dedicated to the reanimation process, incorporating advancements in biotechnology for the enhancement of undead soldiers, improving their resilience, strength, and tactical obedience. Combat simulation arena. Construction of an advanced combat simulation arena capable of recreating various battle scenarios and environments for the purpose of training undead legions in specific tactics, such as urban combat and guerrilla warfare, under controlled conditions. 4. Advanced training and drilling fields. Elite Forces Training Compound. Development of a secluded compound designed for the rigorous training of our special forces, including obstacle courses, live fire ranges, and mock urban environments for practicing infiltration and assassination missions. Mechanized and armored unit proving grounds. Expansion of existing training fields into comprehensive proving grounds for our mechanized and armored units, including varied terrain features for practice maneuvers and live fire exercises aimed at perfecting the art of Blitzkrieg warfare. 5. Command and Control Center upgrades. Strategic Operations Hub. Transformation of the current command post into a fortified strategic operations hub, integrating state-of-the-art communication and surveillance technologies, enabling command over operations at a distance and in real time, including cyber warfare and aerial drone control capabilities. War room for tactical planning. Establishment of an ultra-secure war room within the Strategic Operations Hub, equipped with interactive holographic displays and AI-assisted scenario modeling tools for the planning and execution of complex military campaigns. The enhancement of Luftwaffe capabilities at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, AFB, is a critical component of our strategy, vital for ensuring air superiority and conducting comprehensive intelligence operations over Chicago. To achieve this, a multifaceted approach is required, focusing on both augmenting our aerial fleet's capabilities and executing precision reconnaissance missions. The following detailed strategy outlines the measures to be taken. #Augmentation of aerial fleet capabilities. 1. Facility expansion and modernization. Hangar development. Initiate the construction of additional, reinforced hangars designed to accommodate a wider variety of aircraft, including advanced fighters, bombers, and stealth reconnaissance drones. These hangars will feature enhanced security measures in climate-controlled environments to maintain optimal operational readiness. Maintenance and repair overhaul. Expand existing maintenance facilities to include automated repair systems and diagnostic technologies, significantly reducing turnaround times for damaged aircraft. Establish specialized workshops for the rapid retrofitting and upgrading of aircraft with advanced weaponry and stealth technology. Production line enhancement. Integrate advanced manufacturing technologies, including 3D printing for critical aircraft components and AI-assisted assembly lines, to boost the production rate of our aerial fleet. This includes the fabrication of specialized drones designed for surveillance, electronic warfare, and targeted strikes. 2. Aerial fleet expansion. Strategic bomber acquisition. Accelerate the acquisition and deployment of additional long-range, stealth-equipped bombers capable of penetrating deep into enemy territory undetected, ensuring we can strike at the heart of Chicago with precision. Fighter wing reinforcement. Bolster our fighter wings with the latest air superiority fighters, emphasizing agility, speed, and stealth capabilities. These units will be crucial in securing airspace dominance and providing cover for ground operations. Reconnaissance and E-drones. Expand our fleet of reconnaissance drones with enhanced surveillance capabilities, including high-resolution imaging, signal interception, and radar mapping. Concurrently, develop and deploy electronic warfare drones capable of disrupting enemy communications and radar systems. Hashtag execution of aerial reconnaissance missions. 1. Pre-mission intelligence gathering. Satellite surveillance coordination. Leverage satellite assets to conduct preliminary surveillance of Chicago, identifying military installations, anti-aircraft positions, and critical infrastructure. This intelligence will inform the planning of detailed reconnaissance flights. Cyber intelligence support. Task cyber operations teams with penetrating Chicago's communication networks to gather intelligence on troop movements, defensive preparations, and potential countermeasures against our aerial operations. 2. Detailed aerial reconnaissance. Stealth drone deployment. Launch a series of high-altitude, stealth reconnaissance drone missions over Chicago and surrounding areas. These drones will be equipped with advanced sensors to capture detailed imagery and electronic signals, providing a comprehensive overview of enemy defenses and highlighting vulnerabilities. E-drone operations. In parallel with reconnaissance missions, deploy electronic warfare drones to test and probe Chicago's air defense network, identifying radar coverage gaps and electronic countermeasure vulnerabilities. Live data analysis and sharing. Establish a real-time data link between reconnaissance drones and the Strategic Operations Hub at Wright-Patterson AFB. This will enable immediate analysis and dissemination of intelligence to all units involved in the planning for the assault on Chicago, ensuring decisions are based on the latest information. 3. Operational readiness and fleet mobilization. Rapid response teams. Formulate rapid response aerial teams, comprising both fighter jets and strategic bombers, on standby to exploit identified vulnerabilities or react to emerging threats detected during reconnaissance missions. Aerial strategy finalization. Based on reconnaissance data, finalize the aerial assault strategy, identifying primary and secondary targets for decapitation strikes, infrastructure sabotage, and initial air superiority engagements. The mobilization and strategic deployment of our armored units form the backbone of the ground assault component in our campaign to secure Chicago. This meticulously crafted plan details the formation of a formidable armored spearhead, leveraging the latest advancements in military technology to ensure an overwhelming and decisive victory. The following segments outline the comprehensive battle plan, including the directions for the tanks and their roles in the operation. Hashtag formation and preparation of armored spearhead. 1. Unit composition and enhancement. Advanced tank acquisition. Aggregate our most advanced tanks from the armories in Indianapolis and Toledo, prioritizing models equipped with superior firepower, enhanced armor plating, and the latest stealth technology designed to reduce their radar and infrared signatures. Urban warfare adaptations. Retrofit all selected tanks with urban combat modifications, including reinforced armor to withstand anti-tank weaponry commonly found in urban environments, bulldozer blades for obstacle clearance, and enhanced communication systems for coordinated intra-unit operations. 2. Specialized urban assault units. Form specialized units within the armored spearhead, trained explicitly in urban assault tactics, including breaching fortified positions, close quarters combat, and rapid maneuvering in confined urban landscapes. Equip these units with additional drones for reconnaissance and target designation in cluttered city environments. 3. Logistical and support enhancements. Ensure each tank unit is accompanied by mobile repair and recovery vehicles capable of conducting field repairs and, if necessary, vehicle recovery to minimize operational downtime. Assign logistics teams to maintain a continuous supply chain, ensuring that armored units have uninterrupted access to ammunition, fuel, and essential spare parts. Hashtag deployment strategy. 1. Initial staging and formation. Stage the armored units at the expanded Indianapolis FOB, organizing them into battalions based on their designated roles within the spearhead. Conduct final checks on equipment, communication systems, and vehicle readiness. Initiate a series of briefings and simulations focusing on the urban environment of Chicago, emphasizing navigation, hostile engagement strategies, and civilian area avoidance protocols. 2. Advance towards Chicago. Depart from Indianapolis, heading north toward Chicago via interstate. This route offers the most direct approach, allowing for rapid deployment and minimizing exposure to potential ambushes. Implement electronic countermeasures to disrupt enemy surveillance and communication lines, concealing the advance of our armored spearhead and mitigating the risk of preemptive strikes. 3. Tactical formation and engagement strategy. Upon nearing the outskirts of Chicago, split the armored spearhead into multiple columns designed to encircle key strategic locations, including military outposts, infrastructure choke points, and potential resistance hubs. Designate forward units to engage and neutralize any outlying defensive positions encountered, utilizing a combination of direct fire, artillery support, and aerial strikes to clear a path for the main force. 4. Urban penetration and combat operations. As the spearhead reaches urban areas, deploy specialized urban assault units to take the lead, navigating through predetermined routes to minimize collateral damage and civilian casualties. Establish secure footholds within the city, setting up temporary forward operating bases, FOBs, from which to launch targeted strikes against enemy strongholds and to support ongoing urban operations. 5. Coordination with other forces. Maintain close coordination with infantry and special forces units, providing armored support for ground operations and ensuring a unified assault front. This collaboration is crucial for clearing densely populated urban sectors and securing key objectives within Chicago. Leverage Luftwaffe superiority to call in precision airstrikes against fortified enemy positions, coordinating with aerial units to ensure friendly forces are not jeopardized by close air support operations. Phase 1. Softening the target. To undermine the defense capabilities of Chicago and prepare the battleground for our imminent physical assault, a two-pronged approach encompassing psychological operations and precision aerial strikes will be deployed. This strategy is designed to disorient, demoralize, and dismantle the enemy's will and capacity to fight, leveraging the principles of war such as surprise, mass, and economy of force. Here's an expanded overview. Hashtag psychological warfare initiatives. 1. Comprehensive disinformation campaign. Creation of a shadow information network. Develop and deploy a network of websites, social media accounts, and digital platforms mirroring legitimate news sources to disseminate false information about the impending attack, including exaggerated reports of our strength and falsified claims of local defeats. Hacking and information warfare. Infiltrate local media outlets' digital infrastructure to broadcast or publish our propaganda directly, including tailored messages that sow distrust between military units and civilian authorities, and among the civilian population itself. 2. Targeted propaganda efforts, leaflet drops and broadcasts. Utilize drones and aircraft to drop leaflets over military and civilian areas, containing messages designed to demoralize soldiers and encourage civilians to pressure their leaders into surrender. Broadcast similar messages via radio and other accessible audio channels, emphasizing the futility of resistance and promising fair treatment to those who surrender. Psychological operations, PSYOPs teams. Deploy specialized PSYOPs teams to operate on the fringes of Chicago, using loudspeakers and mobile broadcasting units to transmit demoralizing messages, including recordings of defectors speaking about why they chose to surrender or join our cause. 3. Cyber psychological operations, social media warfare. Launch coordinated attacks on social media, amplifying the perception of chaos within Chicago and among its defenders. Use bots and sympathetic operatives to spread rumors about internal conflicts, desertions, and impending defeat. Manipulation of digital communications. Intercept and manipulate email and text messaging services to send false orders and misinformation to key personnel within the city's defense. Structure, aiming to create confusion and delay their responses to our actions. Hashtag aerial dominance and preemptive strikes. 1. Surgical strikes on strategic targets. Decapitation strikes. Execute precision strikes aimed at eliminating the city's military and political leadership, creating a vacuum that hampers organized resistance. Target command centers, communication nodes, and infrastructure critical to the enemy's command and control capabilities. Infrastructure sabotage. Prioritize targets that will cripple Chicago's ability to sustain military operations and support its civilian population, including power plants, water treatment facilities, bridges, and major roadways. 2. Electronic warfare, UN cyber operations, radar and communications jamming. Deploy EW units equipped with advanced jamming equipment to disrupt enemy radar systems and communications networks, ensuring our forces can move without detection and preventing effective coordination among defending units. Cyber attacks on critical networks. Launch cyber attacks against the city's military communication networks and civilian infrastructure systems, aiming to isolate units, create confusion, and reduce the enemy's situational awareness. 3. Integration with ground and naval operations. Coordination for combined arms assault. Ensure aerial strikes are closely coordinated with the movements of ground forces and any naval assets, creating synergies that exploit the confusion and disarray caused by our psychological and electronic warfare efforts. Flexible strike packages maintain flexibility in targeting, allowing aerial units to adapt to real-time intelligence and changing operational landscapes. Prioritize targets of opportunity that emerge as ground forces advance or as the enemy repositions its defenses. The Blitzkrieg, a lightning war strategy, is predicated on the elements of speed, surprise, and overwhelming force. As we prepare to unleash Phase 2 of our campaign against Chicago, the execution of the Blitzkrieg will be meticulously orchestrated to ensure swift victory. This detailed expansion covers the deployment of our armored vanguard, supported by the formidable might of our Luftwaffe, to penetrate deep into the heart of Chicago, neutralizing all resistance in its path. Hashtag pre-assault preparations. Night preceding the assault, utilize the cover of darkness to position the armored units at the starting points of the assault. Stealth drones will be deployed to monitor enemy movements and confirm the final positions of their defenses. Final coordination meeting. A comprehensive review of the battle plan with all unit commanders will be conducted, emphasizing timing, coordination with Luftwaffe air support, and contingency plans for unexpected resistance. Electronic warfare preparations. EW units will initiate operations to jam enemy communications and radar, aiming to disrupt their ability to organize a coordinated defense or call for reinforcements. Hashtag the assault begins. Dawn attack. As the first light breaks, the armored vanguard, consisting of main battle tanks, armored personnel carriers, APCs, and mechanized infantry, will begin the assault. The operation will start with a massive artillery barrage targeting enemy fortifications and defensive positions identified by our reconnaissance efforts. Air support. Simultaneously, our Luftwaffe will dominate the skies, launching precision strikes against enemy anti-aircraft positions, command centers, and reserves gathering to counter our advance. Fighter jets will maintain air superiority, intercepting any enemy aircraft attempting to challenge our forces. Breaching enemy lines. The armored units, using shock tactics, will exploit the chaos and destruction caused by the initial bombardment and airstrikes to breach the outer defenses. Specialized engineering vehicles will clear obstacles and minefields, opening paths for the main force. Rapid penetration. Following the breach, the armored spearhead will accelerate its advance, exploiting gaps in the enemy's defense and pushing deep into Chicago's heartland. The focus will be on speed and momentum to prevent the enemy from regrouping or organizing a coherent defense. Exploiting the breakthrough. Encirclement and isolation. Secondary units will move to encircle key areas, cutting off escape routes and isolating segments of the enemy forces, preventing them from supporting each other or retreating into the city. Urban warfare teams. As the armored units reach the urban environment, specialized urban warfare teams will deploy. These units, trained in close quarters combat and urban tactics, will engage remaining defenders, secure critical infrastructure, and begin the process of urban pacification. Continuous air support. Throughout the assault, the Luftwaffe will provide continuous close air support, KS, using precision-guided munitions to engage enemy strongpoints, armored vehicles, and troop concentrations identified by forward observers and drone surveillance. Consolidation and reorganization. Secure and hold. Upon achieving objectives within Chicago, armored units will transition to defensive positions, securing the areas they've penetrated. Infantry and special forces units will conduct sweeps to neutralize any remaining pockets of resistance. Rapid replenishment and repair. Logistics units will establish forward supply points for ammunition, fuel, and repairs, ensuring that the armored spearhead maintains operational readiness for further advances or to repel counterattacks. Assessment and adaptation. Commanders will conduct a rapid assessment of the operation, identifying successes, challenges, and casualties. Adjustments will be made to tactics and strategies based on lessons learned during the initial phase of the Blitzkrieg. Pre-deployment preparation. Regimentation and briefing. Although the undead legions require no traditional morale or motivational speeches, their handlers and commanding officers will be briefed extensively on the strategic objectives, rules of engagement, and priority targets within the urban landscape of Chicago. Specialized equipment. The undead units will be outfitted with specialized equipment designed to maximize their effectiveness in urban combat. This includes body armor to enhance their resilience, as well as breaching tools and chemical incendiaries for obstacle clearance and fortified position assaults. Tactical formation training. Handlers will train undead units in basic tactical formations suited to urban environments, ensuring they can navigate the city's terrain while maintaining cohesion for maximum combat effectiveness. Assault phase. Initial wave deployment. Coinciding with the armored advance, undead legions will be deployed as the first wave, tasked with breaching the outer defenses. Their advance will exploit the shock and psychological impact of their presence, demoralizing enemy defenders and creating chaos within their ranks. Fortification breaching. Utilizing their disregard for casualties, undead units will be directed against heavily fortified positions, absorbing enemy fire that would decimate conventional troops. Their relentless push will serve to exhaust enemy ammunition supplies, identify weak points in the defenses, and open breaches for following assault teams. Securing strategic points. Once inside the urban environment, specific undead units will be directed to secure strategic points such as transportation hubs, communication centers, and utility facilities. These actions will disrupt enemy movements, communication, and logistics, further crippling their ability to coordinate a defense. Urban combat operations. Clearing operations. In densely populated urban areas, undead legions will take the lead in clearing operations. Their ability to operate under conditions that would be hazardous or lethal to living soldiers makes them ideal for room-to-room and tunnel fighting, where booby traps and close-quarters combat are expected. Human shield and decoy tactics. Exploiting their expendability, undead units can be used as shields for advancing living troops or as decoys to draw enemy fire and reveal their positions for targeted strikes by our forces. Night operations. Leveraging their insensitivity to the psychological effects of darkness, undead units will conduct night operations to maintain pressure on the enemy, disrupt their rest cycles, and exploit the cover of darkness for surprise attacks and infiltration. Support and sustainment. Reanimation and reinforcement. Field necromancers and bioengineers will accompany the legions, tasked with the rapid reanimation of fallen undead and potentially fallen enemy soldiers, bolstering our numbers directly from the battlefield. Containment and control measures. Handlers equipped with control devices will ensure the undead legions remain focused on operational objectives. preventing them from turning on civilian populations or our troops due to misdirection or manipulation by enemy forces. Hashtag post-assault consolidation. Area denial. In territories secured, undead units can be employed as a deterrent against enemy counterattacks, holding critical positions and serving as an area denial force due to their intimidating presence and the psychological impact on enemy troops considering re-engagement. Cleanup operations. Specialized cleanup crews will follow the legions, tasked with the containment and disposal of any uncontrollable undead, ensuring the safety of our occupying forces and reducing the psychological impact on the civilian population. Phase 3. Encirclement and siege. The strategy to tighten the noose around Chicago requires a methodical and relentless application of military pressure aimed at isolating, weakening, and ultimately subjugating the city. As we establish a foothold, the subsequent actions will be focused on expanding our control, disrupting the enemy's ability to counterattack or escape, and eroding their will to resist. The following plan outlines the detailed steps to be taken in this critical phase. Hashtag expansion of the encirclement. 1. Perimeter establishment. Initial encirclement. Utilizing the armored units and undead legions that first breach the city's defenses, establish a preliminary perimeter around the outskirts of Chicago. This will form the basis of the encirclement, preventing any organized withdrawal or reinforcement from outside forces. Reinforcement of perimeter. Strengthen the encirclement with additional mechanized units, undead legions, and defensive emplacements, including anti-tank obstacles, minefields, and fortified positions. This will deter any attempts at breakout or relief efforts by the enemy. 2. Cutting off escape routes. Strategic points control. Identify and seize control of key transportation hubs, including highways, rail lines, and waterways leading out of Chicago. This will be achieved through a combination of rapid armored advances and airborne insertions of special forces to take control of these critical nodes. Electronic warfare operations. Deploy E-units to jam communications within and outside the city, further isolating the defenders and disrupting their attempts to coordinate with external forces. Hashtag implementation of siege strategy. 1. Artillery and missile barrage. Preparation for barrage. Position heavy artillery and mobile missile systems at strategic points around the perimeter, with target priorities including military installations, command centers, and infrastructure critical to the city's defense and civilian morale. Continuous bombardment. Initiate a sustained bombardment campaign designed to degrade the enemy's defensive capabilities, disrupt their command and control structure, and sow chaos among both military and civilian populations. 2. Air superiority and raids. Airspace control. Ensure absolute air superiority around and above Chicago, neutralizing any enemy aircraft or anti-air capabilities that pose a threat to our operations. Strategic bombing. Conduct continuous air raids targeting remaining enemy strongholds, supply depots, and infrastructure with the dual aim of weakening the enemy's logistical capabilities and breaking their will to fight. Hashtag psychological operations and civilian management. 1. Psychological warfare. Intensify psychological operations against both the enemy forces and the civilian population. This includes broadcasting demoralizing messages, leaflet drops promising safe passage for deserters, and spreading misinformation to create distrust within the enemy's ranks. 2. Civilian control measures. Establish zones for civilian control and safety, aiming to minimize civilian casualties and unrest. These measures will also serve to deprive the enemy of human shields and potential logistical support from the civilian population. Hashtag sustainment and reinforcement. 1. Supply lines maintenance. Secure and maintain robust supply lines to the encircling forces, ensuring a constant flow of ammunition, fuel, and other essentials for the continuation of the siege. 2. Reinforcement and rotation. Implement a system for rotating frontline units to maintain their combat effectiveness. Reinforcements, including fresh undead legions and mechanized units, will be brought in to replace or support units requiring rest or replenishment. In the critical phase leading up to our final assault on Chicago, special forces and sabotage teams will play a pivotal role in undermining the city's defenses from within. These elite units, skilled in covert operations, will be tasked with a series of high-impact missions designed to destabilize the enemy's command structure, cripple their logistical capabilities, and sow chaos among their ranks. Here is an expanded overview of their operations. Hashtag preparation and insertion. 1. Special Forces composition and training. Assemble teams composed of our most elite operatives with expertise in urban warfare, demolition, stealth tactics, and close-quarters combat. These operatives will undergo a rigorous pre-mission briefing, studying detailed maps and intelligence reports to familiarize themselves with the target environment and objectives. Equip these teams with the latest in stealth technology, including silenced weapons, night vision goggles, and non-traceable communication devices, to maximize their effectiveness while minimizing the risk of detection. 2. Covert insertion methods. Utilize a variety of methods to infiltrate Chicago undetected. These include undercover insertion disguised as civilians, aerial insertions under the cover of darkness using low-flying, stealth-equipped drones, and subterranean entry through the city's sewer systems and underground tunnels. Hashtag targeted operations. 1. Key infrastructure sabotage. Energy grid and utilities. Target power plants, electrical substations, and water treatment facilities to disrupt basic services, inducing panic among the civilian population and complicating logistical efforts for the defending forces. Transportation networks, sabotage bridges, tunnels, and major highway interchanges to isolate parts of the city, hinder enemy movements, and prevent the rapid deployment of enemy reinforcements to critical areas. 2. Disruption of supply lines. Identify and destroy supply depots, ammunition caches, and fuel storage sites using precision explosives, further straining the enemy's dwindling resources. Intercept and disrupt enemy supply convoys, utilizing ambush tactics to capture or destroy material destined for the front lines. 3. Assassination and kidnapping operations. Conduct targeted assassination missions against key military leaders and figures of authority within the city, aiming to create a leadership vacuum and demoralize the enemy forces. Where feasible, kidnap high-value targets for intelligence purposes or to negotiate the surrender of critical units or sectors within the city. Hashtag battlefield preparation. 1. Marking targets for aerial strikes. Use laser designators and other target marking equipment to identify high-value targets for our Luftwaffe, enabling precision strikes that avoid collateral damage and conserve resources for the final assault. Establish covert observation posts to provide real-time intelligence and target adjustments for aerial and artillery strikes. 2. Creation of chaos and disinformation. Deploy psychological operations from within the city, including spreading rumors of imminent collapse among the enemy ranks, broadcasting fake orders over captured communication equipment, and planting evidence to fuel mistrust between different enemy factions. 3. Pre-assault positioning and communication. Position special forces teams in strategic locations throughout the city from where they can provide critical support during the final assault, including guiding the main force through cleared paths, securing initial entry points, and eliminating remaining pockets of resistance. Ensure all teams maintain secure, encrypted communication channels with command elements to coordinate their activities with the broader strategy, adapting to changing conditions on the ground in real time. Phase 4. Final assault and consolidation. Hashtag Phase 4. Final assault and consolidation. The culmination of our campaign to subjugate Chicago rests on the execution of a meticulously planned final assault, designed to capture the city's vital centers of power and crush any lingering resistance. This decisive phase employs a full spectrum of our military capabilities, combining the brute force of armored units, the relentless advance of the undead legions, and the precision of special forces operations. The objective is not merely to conquer, but to consolidate our grip on the city swiftly, ensuring a seamless transition to our control. Hashtag pre-assault finalization. Strategic coordination meeting. Senior commanders will convene to review intelligence updates, confirm the status of enemy defenses, and finalize the assault plan. This meeting will ensure all elements are synchronized for a unified offensive. Psychological warfare intensification. In the hours leading up to the assault, psychological operations will escalate, broadcasting ultimatums to the defending forces, offering one final chance to surrender and warning of the overwhelming force poised to strike. This is aimed at further eroding enemy morale and potentially inducing last-minute defections or surrenders. Hashtag execution of the final assault. 1. Initial barrage. Commence with an intense artillery and aerial bombardment targeting remaining enemy strongholds, communication lines, and fortifications. This barrage will serve to soften defenses and create chaos among the enemy ranks. Special forces will use this opportunity to eliminate high-value targets identified during the infiltration phase, further disrupting the enemy command structure. 2. Armored spearhead advance. Following the barrage, our armored units will breach the weakened perimeters, utilizing shock tactics to quickly penetrate deep into the urban core. These units will focus on securing major thoroughfares and creating corridors for infantry and undead legions to follow. Armored units will also surround and isolate key strategic objectives, including government buildings and military installations, preparing the way for infantry and special forces to clear and secure these locations. 3. Undead Legion deployment. Simultaneously with the armored advance, undead legions will flood into the city, targeting sectors still housing enemy combatants. Their primary objective is to engage and neutralize these pockets of resistance, clearing paths for our forces and instilling terror among any defenders. Due to their resilience, undead units will lead assaults on heavily fortified positions, absorbing enemy fire and depleting their resources. 4. Special Forces and Infantry engagement. Special Forces, alongside mechanized infantry units, will execute precision strikes on strategic targets, including command centers, communications hubs, and any remaining defensive strongpoints. These teams will also secure critical infrastructure to prevent its destruction and ensure it can be used for our benefit post-victory. Infantry units will follow behind the undead, securing cleared areas and beginning the process of urban pacification, including disarmament and detention of enemy combatants. Hashtag post-assault consolidation. 1. Immediate security establishment. Upon capturing key objectives, priority will be given to establishing a secure perimeter around them, deploying additional forces as necessary to repel any counterattacks and begin the integration of these locations into our command structure. Quick reaction forces will remain on standby to address any unforeseen threats or pockets of resistance that emerge during the consolidation phase. 2. Civilian management and aid. Special units trained in civil affairs will deploy to manage the civilian population, providing aid, restoring essential services, and communicating the change in leadership. These efforts are crucial for winning hearts and minds, ensuring compliance, and preventing insurgency. 3. Long-term occupation planning. With the city under our control, attention will turn to long-term governance, including the establishment of a provisional government, the reconstruction of damaged infrastructure, and the integration of Chicago into our broader territorial holdings. Special consideration will be given to fortifying the city against any external attempts at liberation. The final assault on Chicago is designed to be overwhelming and decisive, leaving no doubt as to the outcome of the conflict. Through a combination of military prowess, strategic planning, and psychological operations, we will ensure not only the fall of Chicago but also its rapid assimilation into our domain, setting the stage for further expansion and the realization of our ultimate objectives. The establishment of control over Chicago, following its capture, is a critical phase that demands meticulous planning and execution. The transition from military conquest to stable governance requires a multifaceted approach, combining political strategy, psychological operations, and humanitarian efforts to secure the allegiance of the civilian population and integrate the city into our dominions seamlessly. Here is an in-depth strategy for accomplishing these objectives. Hashtag initial control measures. 1. Provisional government formation. Appointment of a governing council. Install a provisional government composed of military leaders and select local officials who have demonstrated loyalty or willingness to collaborate with the Black Sun. This council will be tasked with administrative duties and enforcing our new policies. Establishment of martial law. Temporarily declare martial law to maintain order, with clear communication to the populace that this is a necessary step towards restoring stability. Military police and special units will enforce curfews, secure critical infrastructure, and suppress any form of resistance or unrest. 2. Communication infrastructure control. Seizure of media outlets. Take control of local media outlets, including television, radio stations, and internet service providers, to manage the flow of information. This will be crucial for disseminating official communications and countering misinformation. Launch of propaganda campaigns. Begin a series of propaganda campaigns aimed at highlighting the failures of the previous regime, the benefits of rule under the Black Sun, and the inevitability of a new order. Emphasize stability, security, and prosperity as key benefits of our governance. Hashtag humanitarian and psychological operations. 1. Humanitarian aid distribution. Immediate relief efforts. Coordinate with military logistics to provide essential services and distribute aid, including food, water, and medical supplies, to the civilian population. These efforts should be highly publicized to demonstrate the benevolent aspect of our rule. Rebuilding infrastructure. Prioritize the rapid repair and reconstruction of critical infrastructure damaged during the assault, such as hospitals, schools, and utilities. Employ local labor for these projects to boost employment and foster a sense of participation in the new order. 2. Winning hearts and minds. Community engagement initiatives. Organize community meetings and forums to listen to the concerns of the populace. Address grievances, and communicate the vision and benefits of our new governance. These engagements will also serve to identify potential local leaders and collaborators. Cultural and social programs. Sponsor cultural events, sports competitions, and social programs to restore a sense of normalcy and community. Promote narratives of unity, strength, and revival under the Black Sun, leveraging these programs to subtly instill our values and ideologies. Hashtag security and stability operations. 1. Counterinsurgency measures. Intelligence gathering. Establish a network of informants and employ surveillance technologies to monitor for signs of dissent. Or the formation of resistance movements. Quick and decisive action against identified threats will deter opposition. Community policing. Recruit and train local residents to serve in a community policing role, acting as intermediaries between the military authorities and the civilian population. This approach will help to build trust and gather intelligence on potential unrest. 2. Legal and order framework. Establishment of a new legal system. Implement a provisional legal code that aligns with the principles of the Black Sun while taking into account local customs and laws to avoid alienating the population. The introduction of a fair but firm legal system is key to maintaining order and justice. Prisoner rehabilitation programs. For those detained during the takeover, offer rehabilitation programs focused on re-education and integration into the new order, reducing the likelihood of recidivism and fostering a pool of potential supporters. Hashtag long-term governance and integration. 1. Economic revitalization plans. Develop and implement economic policies aimed at revitalizing the local economy, encouraging foreign investment, and integrating the city's economic activities into the broader economy of the Black Sun's territories. Focus on creating jobs, stabilizing the currency, and promoting growth sectors. 2. Political integration and participation. Gradually introduce mechanisms for political participation under the new governance structure, including local elections for certain positions, advisory councils, and feedback mechanisms. This gradual political integration will help legitimize our rule and build a stable governance structure rooted in the new order. By systematically applying these strategies, we will not only secure our control over Chicago, but also lay the foundation for a prosperous and loyal region within our expanding empire. Through a combination of strength, benevolence, and strategic governance, The integration of Chicago into our dominion will serve as a model for future conquests and the establishment of the Black Sun's rule. Long-term strategic goals. In the aftermath of our triumphant capture of Chicago, a thorough evaluation of the operation is imperative to hone our Blitzkrieg tactics, ensuring that each subsequent victory is swifter and more decisive. This process involves analyzing every phase of the operation, identifying areas of strength and weakness, and integrating these lessons into our future campaigns. Moreover, Chicago's strategic position and resources make it an ideal springboard for expanding our influence into neighboring states, aiming to establish a dominion that spans the entire United States and beyond. The following strategy outlines the steps for this expansion, including target cities that are critical to achieving our overarching objectives. Hashtag post-operation evaluation. 1. Debriefing and data collection. Conduct comprehensive debriefings with commanders and units involved in all aspects of the Chicago operation, collecting data on performance, enemy resistance, and logistical challenges. Utilize drone and satellite imagery, intercepted communications, and on-the-ground reconnaissance to build a complete picture of the battle. 2. Analysis and refinement. Tactical effectiveness. Analyze the effectiveness of the tactics used during the assault, particularly the integration of armored units, undead legions, and special forces, identifying strategies that can be replicated or adjusted. Logistical and support analysis. Examine the efficiency of supply lines, medical support, and equipment reliability. Identify bottlenecks or failures in the logistical chain that could be improved. Enemy response. Study the response tactics of Chicago's defenders to understand their strengths and weaknesses, using this information to anticipate and counter similar strategies in future operations. 3. Integration into future planning. Develop training programs and simulations based on the lessons learned, ensuring that all levels of our forces are prepared to execute refined Blitzkrieg tactics. Adjust operational plans and command structures to incorporate new strategies, technologies, or units that have proven effective. Hashtag expansion strategy. Leveraging Chicago as a base of operations, we will initiate a phased campaign to expand our influence into neighboring states, targeting key cities that offer strategic value in terms of economic resources, military assets, and geographic positioning. The following cities are prioritized for future operations. 1. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. As a major manufacturing and industrial hub on the shores of Lake Michigan, Milwaukee represents a strategic target for controlling the Great Lakes region and securing vital supply routes. 2. Detroit, Michigan. Known for its significant automotive industry, capturing Detroit would not only provide us with critical manufacturing capabilities, but also serve as a gateway to the northeastern United States. 3. Indianapolis, Indiana. A central logistical and transportation hub, Indianapolis's successful capture secures critical crossroads for ground transportation networks across the Midwest. 4. Minneapolis, Paul, Minnesota. These twin cities offer control over key agricultural and natural resources, as well as strategic positions along the Mississippi River, facilitating control over riverine trade and logistics. 5. St. Louis, Missouri. Situated at the confluence of the Mississippi and Missouri rivers, St. Louis is crucial for controlling major waterways and expanding southward towards the Gulf of Mexico. Hashtag phased campaign plan. 1. Reconnaissance and intelligence gathering. Begin extensive reconnaissance missions and intelligence operations within these target cities, assessing their defenses, economic strengths, and potential points of resistance. 2. Psychological operations. Initiate psychological warfare to undermine the morale of the defenders and the civilian population, utilizing tactics proven successful in Chicago. 3. Tactical preparation. Based on the evaluation of the Chicago operation, prepare our forces for a series of rapid, coordinated assaults on these cities, refining our Blitzkrieg tactics to exploit weaknesses identified through intelligence gathering. 4. Execution of expansion campaign. Launch a sequence campaign, moving from one target to the next, using shock and awe tactics to quickly overwhelm defenses and secure key objectives, while minimizing collateral damage and civilian casualties to ease subsequent governance and integration efforts. Conclusion. The systematic expansion into neighboring states, starting with these key cities, will not only solidify our control over the Midwest, but also lay the groundwork for a nationwide dominion under the Black Sun. Each operation will be meticulously planned and executed, drawing on the lessons learned from Chicago, ensuring that our forces become increasingly efficient and unstoppable in the art of rapid conquest. This phase campaign will herald the rise of a new order, with our influence extending across the United States and beyond. The capture of Chicago will not only serve as a demonstration of our might and resolve, but also as a critical step in establishing the Black Sun's dominion over the New World. Onward to victory, for our glory and the inevitable rise of our order. #Triumph in Indianapolis, the prelude to global dominion. Comrades and champions of the Black Sun. As the dust settles over Indianapolis, we stand united, not merely as victors, but as harbingers of a new dawn. Today, we celebrate not only the successful culmination of Operation Iron Fox, but also the indomitable spirit and unmatched prowess that have marked our path toward an inevitable global dominion. The capture of Indianapolis, a feat achieved through the valor of our forces and the strategic acumen of our leadership, symbolizes a critical juncture in our quest. It represents the collapse of the old world order and the rise of our unassailable new era. Our victory here is a testament to our resolve, our unity, and our relentless pursuit of the vision that guides us, a world under the aegis of the Black Sun. Let us reflect on the journey that has brought us to this point. Through the streets of Indianapolis, where our undead legions marched unimpeded, in the skies above, where our Luftwaffe ruled supreme, and in the shadows, where our special forces dismantled the enemy from within, we have demonstrated the full might of our force. We adapted, we overcame, and we conquered. Yet, let this victory not be the end, but the beginning. Indianapolis is but the first gem in a crown that will encompass the globe. Our ambition knows no bounds, our reach no limits. The world has watched as we took Indianapolis with iron and blood. Let them now watch as we march forward, bringing light to the darkness, order to chaos. The road ahead is fraught with challenges, but we are undeterred. Our next objectives are clear: to expand our influence, to secure strategic assets, and to bring more territories under the fold of the Black Sun. From the ruins of Indianapolis, we will build a stronghold, a beacon of our power and a testament to our cause. As we set our sights on new horizons, let us remain steadfast in our principles. Discipline, efficiency, unity, and unwavering loyalty to our cause are the pillars upon which our success will be built. Each city we capture, each territory we claim, brings us one step closer to our ultimate goal, a world united under our banner, enlightened by our vision. To the brave souls who fought for Indianapolis, I offer my deepest gratitude. Your sacrifices have not been in vain. You have laid the foundation upon which we will build our empire, an empire that will stand as a monument to our strength and our spirit for generations to come. Tonight, we celebrate. Tomorrow, we plan. And then, we march again. For the glory of the Black Sun, for the future we will forge together, let us embark on this journey with unwavering resolve. To victory, to dominion, to the dawn of a new world, hail the Black Sun. The conquest of Indianapolis is but the first chapter in our glorious saga. Onward, until the world is ours.